Singapore, often referred to as the Garden City, is famous for its cleanliness, orderliness, and low crime rate. However, behind this perfect picture lies a set of rules that many visitors find unusual and at times downright strict. Whether you're planning a trip to Singapore or just curious about what makes this city-state so unique, these 10 plus strangest and strictest rules will certainly catch your attention. From gum bans to a curfew on alcohol, Singapore has some laws that will make you think twice before breaking any rules. Here's a guide to the quirkiest regulations that you should know before you visit this fascinating city. Chapter 1. No gum, no problem. Singapore's ban on chewing gum is one of its most well-known and unique rules. In 1992, the government enacted this regulation as part of its larger effort to keep the city clean and orderly. The issue began when chewing gum was being discarded improperly, sticking to public property like train doors, benches, and sidewalks, creating an unsightly mess and a costly cleanup. The ban was aimed at curbing this problem and maintaining Singapore's reputation for cleanliness. While the law may sound strict, it's not entirely without exceptions. Medical gum, which is used for health purposes, such as nicotine gum or gum for dental care, is permitted, but it's only available by prescription. Regular chewing gum, however, is strictly prohibited. You won't find it on the shelves of convenience stores or supermarkets, and if you try to bring it into Singapore, customs officials will confiscate it at the airport. Selling gum in Singapore is also illegal, and those caught doing so could face hefty penalties. Fines can reach up to $100,000 or even imprisonment, depending on the offense. The government's stance is clear. Singapore's pristine streets and clean public spaces are non-negotiable, and this gum ban is a small price to pay to maintain that standard. So if you're planning to visit Singapore, make sure to leave your gum at home. No chewing allowed. Chapter 2. Littering, not a light offense. In Singapore, littering is taken very seriously and for good reason. The city-state is known for its stunning cleanliness, and this is largely due to its stringent anti-littering laws. The government has made it a point to maintain pristine streets, public parks, and transportation systems, ensuring that residents and visitors enjoy an environment free of clutter. To achieve this, littering is not just frowned upon, it's met with strict penalties. The fine for littering in Singapore can be steep. A first-time offender could face a fine of up to $1,000. That's not a small amount, especially when you consider the cost of a simple candy wrapper or a cigarette butt carelessly thrown on the ground. But if you're caught littering again, the consequences become even more severe. Repeat offenders could be fined as much as $2,000. But the punishment doesn't end with just a financial penalty. For those who continuously litter, the government also enforces community service as part of the punishment. If you're caught littering, you may be required to participate in corrective work orders, which means you'll have to clean up public spaces as a form of restitution. In Singapore, the rules are clear. Dispose of your trash properly or face significant consequences. So when you're out and about, always make sure to use the many public bins conveniently placed around the city. It's all part of keeping Singapore one of the cleanest places on earth. Chapter 3. Flush after use. It may seem like common sense, but in Singapore, failing to flush a public toilet after use is a serious offense that could land you with a fine of up to $1,000. While many people around the world may take flushing the toilet for granted, this rule reflects Singapore's unwavering commitment to cleanliness and public hygiene. The law was introduced to maintain the high standards of cleanliness that Singapore is famous for. Public restrooms are a vital part of the city's infrastructure, and keeping them sanitary is essential for the well-being of everyone who uses them. By ensuring that every user flushes after use, the government aims to prevent unpleasant odors and maintain a hygienic environment for the next person. The rule may sound simple, but it's a part of a larger national effort to create and preserve a clean and comfortable space for all, especially in public areas where foot traffic is high. So if you're in Singapore and need to use a public restroom, remember this important rule. Don't forget to hit the flush button. It's a small action that contributes to the city's commitment to maintaining its spot as one of the cleanest and most orderly places on the planet. Chapter 4. No eating or drinking on public transport. Singapore's public transportation system, comprising the MRT, mass rapid transit trains and buses, is a model of efficiency, cleanliness, and reliability. To preserve the pristine condition of the trains and buses, and to ensure a pleasant ride for all passengers, the government enforces a strict no eating or drinking rule on public transport. This means no snacks, no water bottles, and definitely no meals, whether you're traveling on the MRT or hopping onto a bus. The reasoning behind this rule is straightforward: preventing messes. Singapore places a strong emphasis on maintaining its public spaces spotless, and food and drinks can easily spill, leaving behind crumbs, stains, or unpleasant smells that would disrupt the clean and orderly environment. Public transport is shared by many, and this rule ensures that everyone has a comfortable, clean experience during their commute. If you're caught eating or drinking on public transport in Singapore, you could face a fine of up to $500. This rule applies equally to locals and tourists, so don't assume you're exempt while on vacation. To avoid any trouble, make sure to finish any snacks or drinks before you board the train or bus. In case you find yourself hungry or thirsty while traveling, it's best to wait until you're off the transport before indulging. This simple rule helps keep Singapore's public transport system in top condition and pleasant for all passengers. Chapter 5. Alcohol Curfew. Know the hours. Singapore is a city that knows how to enjoy a good drink, but it also has strict regulations when it comes to the public consumption of alcohol. While locals and tourists alike enjoy their beverages, the government enforces a curfew on alcohol consumption in public spaces. From 10:30 p.m. to 7 a.m., it is illegal to drink alcohol in certain public areas, including streets, parks, and other open spaces. The aim is to maintain public order and prevent disturbances during the late-night hours. If you're caught drinking in public outside of these hours, you could be hit with a fine of up to $1,000, and in some cases, you might even face jail time. The law is designed to ensure that people don't disrupt the peace late at night, especially in residential areas or places where large groups may gather. The curfew is strictly enforced, and Singapore's authorities take a no-nonsense approach to public behavior. Additionally, alcohol sales are also restricted to certain hours. In retail stores, you won't be able to pick up alcohol in the middle of the night, as shops are prohibited from selling alcohol after a certain time. To enjoy a drink during the evening, make sure you're in a licensed establishment, such as a bar, restaurant, or nightclub, where alcohol is allowed to be served past the curfew hours. This rule helps ensure that the vibrant nightlife in Singapore remains safe, orderly, and enjoyable for everyone. Chapter 6. Flavored air is a big no-no. In a city where cleanliness and order are taken very seriously, Singapore takes its air quality just as seriously, which leads to one of its most unusual rules: the ban on flavored air. This includes not only the obvious like air fresheners, but also scented candles and any other products designed to artificially alter the smell of the air. While it may sound extreme, this regulation is rooted in the government's dedication to maintaining a fresh, clean, and natural environment for all its residents and visitors. The rationale behind this ban is simple yet effective. Singapore aims to preserve the quality of its air by ensuring that it remains neutral and free of overpowering scents. Artificial fragrances can mask the natural smells of the environment, and in some cases, they may even contribute to air pollution. By eliminating these products, the government ensures that the air stays as clean and fresh as possible, which is especially important in a densely populated urban area. If you're caught using air fresheners or other scent-producing products in Singapore, you could face a hefty fine, up to $10,000. While this may seem like an over-the-top measure, it is part of a larger government-led effort to keep Singapore's environment pristine, sustainable, and as pleasant as possible for everyone. So if you're visiting or living in Singapore, it's best to leave the scented candles and air sprays at home. Chapter 7. No smoking in public places. Singapore has some of the strictest anti-smoking laws in the world, reflecting its commitment to public health and cleanliness. Smoking is prohibited in many public areas, including parks, bus stops, and even open-air malls. This law was put in place to protect non-smokers from secondhand smoke and to maintain the city's clean and pleasant environment. In fact, smoking is banned in so many places that it can sometimes be hard to find a spot where you're allowed to light up. If you're caught smoking in a non-designated area, you could face a fine of up to $1,000. The government takes this rule seriously, and enforcement is strict to ensure the city remains free from the harmful effects of tobacco smoke in public spaces. To avoid any issues, smokers must use designated smoking areas, which are clearly marked and often located away from high-traffic zones like bus stops and parks. Additionally, smoking is also prohibited in private vehicles when children under 18 are present. This law aims to protect young people from the harmful effects of secondhand smoke in confined spaces. Offenders can face fines of up to $1,000 if caught smoking in their cars with minors present. For smokers visiting Singapore, it's important to be aware of these regulations to avoid fines or trouble. So before you light up, make sure you're in an approved smoking area or in the comfort of your own home. Chapter 8. No jaywalking. Stick to the pedestrian crossings. In Singapore, jaywalking is not just a minor infraction. It's a serious offense. The city-state has a zero-tolerance policy when it comes to crossing the street outside of designated pedestrian crossings. If you're caught jaywalking, you could face a fine of up to $1,000. The government enforces this rule strictly to maintain the orderly flow of traffic and, most importantly, to ensure pedestrian safety. Singapore is known for its efficient and well-organized road system, and this law helps preserve that structure. By requiring pedestrians to use designated crossings, the government aims to prevent accidents and ensure that traffic signals are followed properly. Jaywalking can disrupt the smooth movement of vehicles, leading to traffic jams or, worse, accidents. The fines serve as a deterrent to anyone tempted to skip the proper crossing and risk their own safety, as well as the safety of others. To avoid getting into trouble or risking an accident, always make sure to use pedestrian crossings when crossing the road. Wait for the green pedestrian light and never assume it's safe to cross when it's not. Singapore's commitment to traffic safety and orderliness makes it one of the most pedestrian-friendly cities in the world, but it's up to each individual to follow the rules and help keep the streets safe. Chapter 9. No nudity in public. Despite being a modern, cosmopolitan hub, Singapore maintains a conservative stance on public nudity. The city-state has strict laws regarding modesty in public spaces, and nudity of any kind is not tolerated. Whether you're at the beach, lounging by the pool, or simply walking around town, you must keep your clothes on. Even something as seemingly harmless as topless sunbathing is prohibited in public areas. The rule is part of Singapore's broader cultural norms, which emphasize respect for public decency and modesty. While the city has a reputation for being open-minded and progressive in many ways, it still holds traditional values when it comes to appearance in public spaces. For tourists or residents visiting Singapore, it's important to remember that nudity, or even semi-nudity in public, is considered offensive and can result in fines or other legal consequences. This rule ensures that everyone feels comfortable and that the public space remains respectful for all, regardless of personal preferences. If you're enjoying Singapore's beautiful outdoor spaces, make sure to wear appropriate clothing. So when you head out to the beach or pool, keep your top on and respect the local culture. Adhering to this rule not only helps you avoid fines, but it also shows respect for the cultural norms that make Singapore the unique place it is. Chapter 10. Strict rules on tattoos and piercings. In Singapore, tattoos and piercings are largely accepted, but there are important cultural and professional considerations that you should be aware of before getting inked or pierced. While personal expression through body art is becoming increasingly common, Singapore's conservative approach to public appearance means that visible tattoos, especially those considered offensive or controversial, may not be as widely embraced as they are in some other countries. If you plan to work in Singapore, it's a good idea to keep your tattoos covered, particularly during job interviews or while on the job. Many employers still prefer a more polished, traditional appearance from their employees, especially in client-facing or formal work environments. Visible tattoos could be seen as unprofessional or inappropriate, which may affect your chances of securing a job or even lead to issues within the workplace. Similarly, while piercings are also common, anything beyond standard earlobe piercings may not be accepted in certain professional settings. For example, facial piercings, eyebrow rings, or nose studs could be frowned upon in industries that prioritize formal appearances. If you're considering a job in a corporate or government sector, it's a good idea to carefully assess how your piercings may be perceived. Ultimately, the key to fitting in with Singapore's workplace culture is to be mindful of these expectations. Tattoos and piercings can still be a form of self-expression, but it's best to consider where and when to showcase them, particularly in professional or formal settings. Chapter 11. No feeding animals in public parks. In Singapore, feeding animals in public parks is strictly prohibited. While the idea of sharing a snack with a friendly squirrel or bird might seem harmless, the government has implemented this rule for very important reasons. The primary concern is the protection of wildlife and the prevention of human-animal conflicts, which can arise when animals become accustomed to being fed by people. Feeding wild animals can have serious health consequences for the animals themselves. Many types of human food are not suitable for their digestive systems and can lead to malnutrition, disease, or other health issues. Additionally, feeding animals disrupts the natural balance of the ecosystem. Wild animals rely on their instincts to forage and hunt for food, and human feeding can interfere with these natural behaviors, leading to dependence on people for food rather than foraging for it themselves. The government's focus on maintaining a healthy relationship between humans and wildlife also aims to reduce the potential dangers that can arise from animals becoming too familiar with humans. In some cases, animals may become more aggressive or territorial if they feel entitled to human-provided food, leading to conflicts or injuries. If you're caught feeding animals in Singapore's public parks, you could face a fine, and the government takes this rule very seriously. So the best approach is to admire wildlife from a distance and let them live freely in their natural habitat without interference. This respect for nature ensures that Singapore's parks remain a safe and balanced space for both people and animals. Conclusion: respecting the rules. Singapore's strict laws may seem surprising to many, especially for those unfamiliar with the city's approach to public order. However, these rules are a core part of what makes Singapore one of the cleanest, safest, and most efficient places to live and visit. While some of the laws might seem unusual, they are designed to protect the well-being of both residents and visitors, contributing to a well-maintained and harmonious environment. From keeping the streets spotless to ensuring public safety and preserving the natural beauty of the environment, Singapore's rules are carefully crafted with the greater good in mind. These regulations help foster a society where orderliness is prioritized and people can enjoy clean, safe, and beautiful surroundings. So the next time you visit Singapore, it's important to be mindful of these rules. By respecting the city's regulations, you'll not only avoid any unwanted fines, but also contribute to maintaining the very qualities that make Singapore a remarkable destination. Enjoy your time in this vibrant, world-class city. Just remember to follow the rules, and you'll have a memorable and trouble-free experience.